All right, it is noon on Thursday, February 17th. It's weekly real estate update time. It's a sunny day, kind of, and we're inside. We're rolling through all the real estate stats along with my sidekick, Jaden Bax of Avenue Financial. Jaden, how are you?
Hi there. I never realized that I was the Robin to your Batman. I always kind of thought it was the other way around. But I'm
No,
happy to be part of a team.
you know what? I say sidekick, but you're my partner in crime, whatever you want to call it. So.
I like that. Yeah.
We're getting into details that people don't need to know.
That's
But
true.
let's see what's going on in our real estate market this week. Okay, so I find this very, very, very interesting. So look at the top line there of the weekly new listings since the same time, basically a month ago. So a month ago, we had 140 new listings. We're 438 this week. So a big bump up in new listings hitting the market. I have a client on a search right now in kind of the lake communities down south. He's like, what is going on? I'm like, well, that's this time of the year, like mid-Feb, late Feb, early March is when we traditionally see a lot of listings hitting the market. So this is not surprising. What is not surprising anymore, but we're just continually seeing massive amounts of sold homes. So 527 this week based on 459 the week before, 270 sales, 4 weeks ago. So in terms of our net difference, I'll jump to that now because we were 329 and we're 377 this week, 394 the week before, 348, 360. So it kind of doesn't matter how many new listings hit the market when we're getting as many sales as we are. So 288 pendings this week. That's the highest it's been in 5 weeks. Our sold plus pending at 815, also the highest. But our net difference went down slightly, I will say, to 377. So again, if this is the first time you're watching this net difference indicates how much of a seller's or buyer's market we're in. If we're on the plus side, that means that we have more sales. I'll explain it this way. The amount of sales over the amount of listings determines how much of a seller's market we're in. And we've been in this plus three, as you can see, plus 329, plus 394 is a high last week since beginning of January. Interestingly here, look at the price reduction, 75 price reduction. So you might say, well, that's not a lot, but we had 527. So sorry, let me combobulate my thoughts here. Total of 906 detached listings, almost 10% of them had price reductions. So that's very, very interesting to me. We're going to keep an eye on that as we do every week, because if we, again, go back, this is all about trends, right? This is why we do this every week, not just once a month. We see trends weekly. So if we look back 5 weeks ago, we only had 24 price reductions, 31, 18, jumped up to 50 last week, 75 this week. So we'll see next week, does that jump up again? Does it go down? If it continues to go up, my personal feeling is people are stretching the market. They're saying, hey, well, you know what? This property sold for that, so I'm going to now try selling at significantly higher. It really is such a case-by-case thing, but it'd be very, very interesting, in my opinion, to see where we're at next week for price reductions. As you see, there are 906 detached listings, and again, to clarify, that is active. That is not pending, meaning they have a conditional offer on them. Total of 2,200 listings, up from 2027 last week. And again, these are the last 2 weeks now. These are actual active listings. There's no pending conditional sales in those listing numbers. All right. So when we go to a year ago this week, one of these days I'm going to get that right. Year ago this week. So February 10th to 16th of 2021, we had 437 sales. We're 100% higher than that as of yesterday, the week that ended yesterday. 600 new listings last year. Take a look at that. 1,203 new listings this year compared to this week last year. Active listings. So this is bumping up. I would have to pull up last week's stat, but it was definitely in the 2000s last week. We are seeing an increase in active listings, which is still, though, almost 30% down from last year. Look at the pendings. 900 pendings this week, the week that ended yesterday, and that's 174% up from last year at the same time. Look at the median price, look at the average price, look at the days on market. So I'm going to leave this up and I'm going to just talk you through. Another agent reached out to me this morning and said, hey, Mark, my client thinks the prices are too high and they want to wait till the prices come down, because what if they have to sell, things like that. So here's my comment to that. If you know me at all, if you have watched these updates for any length of time or know me personally, I'm the least high pressure person out there in terms of a real estate agent. I mean, that's a blanket statement, but I'm just not a high pressure person. I'm all about presenting the information and presenting you with the trends, presenting you with the data. And if you want my opinion, I'll give it to you. My opinion is that this is not ending anytime soon. Yeah, we're seeing more new listings come on the market, but we're still seeing the same above average sales that we're seeing. Yeah, we saw some more price reductions. If that trend continues, then we might have a little bit different situation on our hands. But everything I am looking at with my clients, yesterday I showed a house in Middenpoort. I think there was one realtor leaving as I got there. There was another one in the backyard, and we were in the house. So yeah, I just don't get the sense out there from talking to other realtors that this is ending anytime soon. So going back to that story about the person who's looking at buying but thinks they may want to wait. Is it conceivable that in a year that we're going to have a lot more listings? Absolutely, 100%. But how long will it take the prices to come down? Because when I look at comparables for a listing, when we're in a normal market, I'll go back 6 months to gather enough data. And if that person waits for a year, if you go back 6 months, we're still going to be seeing these high prices. And if there's just enough demand to support those, you're still going to be paying those high prices. Does that make sense, Jaden?
Oh, totally. And you know, I'm seeing it with my clients. A lot of clients on the fence, same thing, thinking about waiting. But in the case of my clients, you have to know that waiting might not save you money. If you're more comfortable in that market where you're not putting in an offer with 20 other people, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that it's going to save you money when inventory jumps back up either.
No, exactly. And that's not even taking into account interest rates. And on that note, let's go to those. And you do have updated rates for us this week, Jake.
Yeah, continuing to go up. It just is what it is. And we're going to see this through 2022. And basically what's happening is we're getting back to rates 3.5 years ago where we were. One of the things that I don't feel like we had 3.5 years ago that I have to go back and check is these amazing discounts on prime, right? So that, that variable at 0.99% on a 3-year, 1.25, that's a discount of 1.2%. There's even a product out there. I maybe should have gone with a prime minus 1.25 to get you to 1.2%. There's just amazing discounts out there. I think that's going to continue through the spring, and you might see some bump ups on that, right? So these, that conventional, which is your normal 20% down, 25-year term, that's at prime minus 1 right now. As prime goes up, you might see some lenders trying to get into that variable market by giving bigger discounts. And we've seen it in spring markets in the past. So I would look towards that. And then just to talk a little bit about what you were talking about it was so interesting to me to see so much stock on the market, but so many more sales. And I'm seeing that in my business. I have plenty of clients who are pre-approved, ready to go, just waiting because they don't want to just pick any house. They want their house, right? So they're just waiting to get a little bit more variety. They're fine going in those competing offers and everything, but they just want to look through more houses and they're waiting for that. So it's interesting to see how those sales are still following the listings, eh?
Yeah, well, and I think that's always the leading indicator for me is, where we're going is where we are and where we've been for sure. But when you see, it'd be one thing if we started to see that net difference balance out a little bit, but it's just not happening right now. And we have basically almost 2 months now into the new year, and we just haven't seen a week. And again, I can go back to the stats and I'll do that for next week, but we're just not seeing that slow down at any time. And we're not even in busy spring market yet. And that's what people don't understand. Like I had 5 closings in January. I've never had 5 closings in January. And that's not me bragging. That's just telling you what the market's doing. And it doesn't seem to matter. Our colleague Grayson Magnus had a condo listing downtown sold in 2 days. 2 days. I mean, that's just unheard of. I have a brand new listing that just went up today up in Springbank Hill. Check that one out. But, be very curious to see what happens there as well. I think we're priced well, and we're priced for the market. So we'll just continue to see what happens with that. But yeah, we're just not seeing the trends going down in terms of sales. And like I said, we're not even in spring market. So spring market traditionally is, anywhere from, beginning of March, end of March, beginning of April, and that runs traditionally in Calgary right through to mid to end of June. By the time Stampede hits, people go on summer holidays. We kind of all take a break for summer, but we haven't even seen that yet. So it'll be really, really interesting to see over the next few weeks here if that number starts to come down in terms of that net difference. So my best advice is at least start getting your ducks in a row, get your pre-approval done with Jayden, start getting a list together of your must-haves. And, if the right house does come up, certainly it's worth taking a look at this point. So anyway, does that make sense?
All makes sense. Clear as day.
Good stuff. All right. So reach out to Jayden as always. I think it'd be well worthwhile for you to talk to him. I have the great pleasure of referring many clients to him, and he's sitting right here, so I don't need to talk him up that much. But no, he's awesome at what he does, and I'm happy to help out with any real estate questions you do have. And with that, we will end for today, and we'll see you all here next week. Thanks for watching.
Have a great week, guys.